Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to transfer a photo to Canvas. First, you want to print your image on your inkjet printer. If it has any writing on it, you want to flip it in a mirror image and print it so that your writing comes up the right direction. We'll be using Mod Podge photo transfer medium. I got this at my local craft store. You can use it for light or dark fabric. Now that I've got it printed, I want to take my little canvas and make sure that this is going to fit. Measure and measure. So now I want to line this up on my canvas and make sure it's right where I want it to be, centered and straight. So put it over the top. I can see through it a little bit. Centered up the way I want it. And then I'm just going to put a little mark on all four sides to help me line it back up to mark it properly. Now we're going to take our canvas and line it up with our marks that we've made and trace around it. And then we're going to cut just inside of the lines. And there it is cut. Now we want to double check and make sure that this thing is going to fit just right. And you're actually going to be laying it face down. And you can use a sponge brush or a regular paintbrush. I like my fan brush just so I can push the glue around a little bit. So I'm going to take some glue and add it right to the canvas. And we're going to take our brush and kind of push that glue down into the threading in the canvas. Now you want this to be a nice even coat. You want to make sure you cover every square inch of the top of this canvas, corners, sides, everything, and you want it to be nice and even. This coat is going to make all the difference when it comes to transferring the photo, so make sure it's nice and neat. And then you want to take the side of your brush and kind of clean up the glue on the edges of this. It's nice and neat. We're going to take our photo face down and line it up. And you want to take your finger and kind of tap it on there. And then we're going to start rubbing it in. Now you want this to be adhered to that canvas, flat and even. Now note that I'm starting in the middle and kind of pushing my way towards the edge, because as you push towards the edge, the glue is going to start coming out of the edge, and you do not want that glue coming off the edge to get onto the top of your paper. It will mess up your project and you'll have to start over. So make sure that this is adhered real nice and flat. There's no wrinkles in your paper. Just work it on out. Don't be afraid to get in there. And that glue, we want to make sure that we miss that with our fingers. And if you get some on your fingers, wipe it off before you put your hands back on here. Then you take your little clean brush and go around the edges and clean up that glue again. And now we're going to let this sit for 24 hours. Now that we've waited 24 hours, we want to get a sponge or a rag, or I'm going to use a rag just because I have more control over this. You want to take that rag nice and damp and just push it right onto your canvas. You want that paper to get nice and damp. Get the corners, make sure the sides are nice and moist. You want to make sure all of it is kind of an evenly damp. You should see your design, your picture through that paper once it's evenly wet. Okay, you can use a sponge for this part. I prefer to use a rag just because I seem to have better control. You can even use your fingers if you feel better about it. Just get in there with that corner of this thing and just scrub that paper right off. Now you don't want to scrub so hard that you remove your glue in your picture, but you want to use enough pressure where you're really peeling that paper off of there. Any traces of paper left behind on this thing will make it look faded and just, it won't look right. So get in there, scrub the corners, the middle. You want every trace of that paper gone. And this method works the same whether you're using a photo or if you're using a logo. It doesn't matter. The method is still the same. Now that I got all my paper off of there, I'm going to use a stiff brush while this thing is still damp, and I'm just going to go over the whole thing. Get the tiny little shreds that might still be stuck to the canvas. Sweep off the pieces that are already removed but still kind of laying on it, because if they dry in place, it'll look like you didn't take them off. So really scrub this thing with your brush. Get all the little traces off of there. There it is, all done. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe the video, and come visit me anytime at boardprincess.com.